Good afternoon, race fans, and welcome to the show. Tonight we have a good one here. It is race number 12 of the American Sim Racing Club Street Stock Series. Qualifying just kicking on off here, so we will see who walks away with the quick time here tonight. Tonight, of course, the penultimate race, and right now Zach Nichols sitting in a really good spot there in the overall points here with the street stocks as well. I think just like we saw last night, all Zach Nichols needs to do is just finish the race and he should be good as we get cars out on the speedway here. One of the first to get on out to track here will be the 86 car. That is Stephen Hoffman. Hoffman here gets that 86 car wound on up, and Hoffman goes on the clock here in qualifying. Lap time starting to get put up on the board right now. It is Chuck Darling so far with the quick time here. Darling with the benchmark to be a 19.72 from the 88 machine, as Hoffman off of turn number 4 here on lap number 1. He will go P number 2 slot in between Gauker and Darling, as Darling lap number 2 going to be not as good, so it seems like here tonight it might count for your first lap. As we take a look now at the 44 machine, this is Zach Nichols. Nichols, of course, with the most poles here on the season. Jaden Kratachi now will go quick time. Zach Nichols not going to like the lap or the field going into turn number 3 there, so he will pull the chutes. We'll pick back up here. This is Matt Moduleski here. Moduleski, I think, on his first time lap, looking like nice and easy here, so maybe trying to get things done here and the second lap. And yeah, that car at least not looking fully up to song here, so we will go to the 53 machine of Nathan Coaster. Coaster gonna, I think, exit pits unsafely, so he'll have to try and reset. About 30 seconds or so left on the clock, so if a driver needs to get in lap time, they are going to have to do it here very quick. As Zach Nichols across the stripe, he will go quick time here tonight with a 19.63, the only car in the sixes here. Let's see if Nathan Coaster can be another driver to do so. Anthony Danta looks like we'll slot into P number 6, and as you can see on the left side of our screen here, time's very close. Less than 3/10, or I should say just over 3/10 of a second from pole position to a driver in the invert. Nathan Coaster here on his one attempt will go P number 10 here, and that will wrap things on up in qualifying. We got to give a big congrats to the 44 machine of Zach Nichols, walking away with the quick time here from New Smyrna, and he will pick up 2 more bonus points. And like I said, as long as he starts this race here tonight, Zach Nichols is looking like he'll pick up 3 championships in total, both the Super and the Street Stock, as well as the overall champion here for the Fall/Winter 2025 ASRC Championships. So we take a look here at the little bit of a track map at New Smyrna, as we can kind of tell in qualifying. High bank corners, long straightaways here, so it's all about going to be that entry speed, how much speed you can carry through the middle of the corner. That's where you'll make up time here tonight, and probably going to be the best place to try and set up a pass, as it looks like a nice cool night. 65 degrees track temperature, just under 70 degrees, so these cars should be hooked up. And I was hearing a little bit of chatter, just like it normally is, street stocks maybe on the tighter side, and that will be the case here tonight with a nice cool track. These things are going to be gripping and ripping, so 100 laps going to be the distance. We'll see who can take care of their tires here for that distance. No set of tires in the pits for any of these drivers here, so whatever rubber you start on here tonight that is what you are going to have to finish on. Of course, Zach Nichols on a great run here. Won last week at Rockingham, won the week before at Five Flags, won then the week before that at Vegas. So Zach Nichols right now in a 3-race win streak, and once again here tonight, he will start on the back row with the shotgun rule in place. As here we go, we get ready to head down trackside to go through tonight's starting lineup here at New Smyrna. So here we go tonight. For the 100 lapper, the starting lineup will look like the following. Pete Dillon in the number 7 machine will lead the field to the green flag. He will start on the pole. Ron Hart to his outside in the 51. That will make up the front row. As now we head to row number 2. Starting on the inside, it is the 53 of Nathan Coaster. And then rolling off in fourth is the 38 car of Dave Payton. Greggy Long in the 21 machine. He will start in 5th. 6th going to the 93 car of Andrew Payne. Anthony Danta will make his return here in ASRC. Will start in P number 7. And Jimmy Gauker will roll off in 8th. Stephen Hoffman will start in the 9th position. And rounding out the top 10 is Chuck Darling. Starting in 11th is Jaden Kratachi, and 12th would be Zach Nichols, but with him winning last week, he will start at the tail end of the field. Landon Dickens will roll off 13th, 14th going to Zach Hoyer. Matt Modulewski will start in P number 15. Tanner Tallarico would start 16th, but he is race control, and so Caleb Ramsey will start 17th. TJ Hassan here back from Snowball Weekend. He will start 18th, and then rolling off 19th will be John DeMeester here tonight. So that will do it for the starting lineup here tonight as we get ready to rock and roll and send these cars on off for 100 laps. Of course, last week, no cautions at Rockingham. This place, of course, a whole nother beast from that. We will see how it will work on out. That is Pete Dillon, Ron Hart on the front row as the iRacing Pace Truck here will actually do another lap. So getting a little too ahead of myself here, as I believe this time by we will get the 1 to go signal. So we will turn them on loose here, as I thought the field was kind of, still pretty relaxed coming down the back straightaway. This time by we'll see everyone kind of bunch on up and get ready for some green flag racing here tonight. Has a long card of single fileness on that inside lane, but here we go. iRacing Pace Truck on off. Pete Dillon, Ron Hart, pretty even start as we go green flag racing here at New Smyrna. Side by side down the front straightaway, but not the case through the corner. Hart will lose out to Dillon and Nathan Coaster. Coaster up to P number 2 here quickly. Greggy Long going to be able to slot into 3rd as Hart finally able to get down on that bottom side, though, back in P number 4. Dave Payne trying to rock and roll up in lane number 2. He's going to be able to get to the outside of Hart, so I think that 51 car, Ron Hart, gonna be very slow here, gonna mind that pace and try and be here at the end. Gonna say, you know what, boys, you guys want to push, you guys can go around me on the high side right now. I am gonna ride on around and just try and click off some laps till about probably 20 laps into it if it's clean and green here. Andrew Payne able to get around, so Payne into the top 5 for the first time here tonight. Out in front, though, Pete Dillon leading the way over Nathan Coaster. Greggy Long sits in 3rd. Dave Payne in P number 4. And Ron Hart once again under fire now from the 2 car of Jimmy Gauker. So Gauker started in the 8th position there, trying to make his way back up through this invert. Further on back here, Zach Nichols already back to where he started, or at least trying to get that spot away from Stephen Hoffman, as those two will go side by side for a moment, as Nichols going to be able to complete the pass and still side by side here through this field, as Ron Hart definitely managing that pace here. Chuck Darling able to get on around the 51 car on the top side. Same with now the 13 machine of Zach Coyer. Hart has to be kind of careful. He doesn't want to let every single car by, because then trying to get up through the field, we saw last night with kind of a tight setup, it was very, very tough to pass at this place. Could be the case once again here tonight in the street stocks. As we finally see here Anthony Danta move off of that bottom side behind the 51 machine, able to get a opening behind Jaden Kurtachi there, and now Danta going to try and get around the 51 machine. Right in front of Kurtachi here, Zach Coyer trying to make the moves on Chuck Darling here. Those two will now go side by side, as Coyer will send it in there deep, get a nose ahead of the 88 machine. How much of a run does a high side produce? Because remember, under 400 horsepower here in these race cars, so it's going to be all about that momentum. So it seems like right now any lane could be viable as long as you are carrying more speed through the middle of the corner. Seems like whatever way you want to go, it can work for you. As Kurtachi will try and clear himself, can't quite do it there off of turn number 4, so Darling will hold on for at least another straightaway. Looks like won't be for any longer, as the 11 car will get clear. Out in front though, Pete Dillon lead the way now over Greggy Long, so Long up to P number 2. As we can see a little bit here, zooming on out, this top 3 has ran away from the rest of the field. 4th on back here, right in a single car line here for the time being. But those top 3 hoping this race goes green for quite a bit, because they are sitting in a comfortable position up towards the front. As we now see Andrew Payne starting to put some good pressure on Dave Payne for that 4th position. And Payne kind of has to. He has a lot of hungry racers right behind him as well. We will click on over here to start lap number 15 here tonight. Some other drivers we got to keep an eye on here. This strategy call from Ron Hart. He has fell outside of the top 10 here, currently running in that 12th position, but has his buddy Stephen Hoffman right behind Landon Dickens right here, as well as Caleb Ramsey. So this group looking pretty sporty. Right behind them, Matt Modulewski and John DeMeester, both of them keeping some decent pace here. Yeah, Nathan Coaster's starting to lose touch from those top 2 here. You gotta wonder, maybe he's saving some pace here tonight, or maybe he's just trying to figure out where he wants to run, maybe trying some different lines, seeing what may work, as he definitely has the space to do so. No real pressure around that 53 machine, at least for the time being. Caleb Ramsey here making the move on Landon Dickens, so Ramsey will get another position started deep in this one there with that long line of single file cars, and currently trying to make his way back up through this field. But This group may have to turn it on up just a little bit because Chuck Darling sits about a second and a half in front of those cars. And then that group that Zach Nichols is in, man, a lot of good race cars just kind of running whatever pace they want to run. Yeah, let's ride on board with the driver leading this pack here, as Dave Payton has Andrew Payne all over that back bumper. So let's ride on board with the 38 machine here. As Payne tries to make his move, Payne able to keep that car turning a little bit later than the 38 machine. He will take a peek to the inside here as we go side-by-side battling at New Smyrna 4P number 4. Payne able to keep that car pretty low. Dave Payne keeping that 93 low on corner exit as well. This could be a big pass for either driver because either one of them could get swallowed up by those line of cars right behind them there, as Payne going to be able to hang on to that spot at least for the time being here. Further on back here, Anthony Danta will dart to the inside of the 11 machine. Those two will go side by side now for the 8th position out on the speedway. So far here tonight, we have started the same way as we did at Rockingham. Clean and green for the first quarter of the race here tonight. As Kurtachi and Danta, both drivers wheeling their race cars. You can see a lot of wheel at the apex, but then kind of chasing the rear tires just a little bit on corner exit. I think these drivers trying to get those rear tires spinning to keep the wear up in that, to try and build a neutral race car if they can. As these two still side by side on the speedway, neither driver really has an advantage, especially with Zach Coyer right in front of them. Coyer doing a good job at taking up both lanes here, so that has kind of kept both cars in front of him in a line, at least for the time being. As Andrew Payne maybe with a mistake there, as Jimmy Gauker will try and get around the 93 machine. Those two will go side by side for the 5th position here. We saw a few laps ago Payne be able to defend up in that 2nd lane. We'll see now if the 93 car Payne can do the same. And I tell you what, folks, I don't know what's up with me and Ryman tonight, but we got a few good zingers in there, I guess, so far here. As we see Dave Payton work up to lane number 2. That will take the line away a little bit from Andrew Payne, so Payne will have to enter the corner even higher than he probably wants to, as he had the advantage. Almost got Gauker cleared down the back straightaway, but with that high entry into 3 there, he loses a little bit of time to that 2 car. Yeah, it seems like here tonight that outside lane has the advantage in 1 and 2. 3 and 4, it's a lot more even, but down on this end of the speedway, it seems like that top side has it going on, as these guys still stuck 2x2. I mean, even Danta and Kurtachi still 2x2 right behind them as well. So this is kind of the point I was kind of worried about from the strategy from the 51 machine. I mean, he has to really save a lot of tire here to be able to make that inside lane work later in the race here tonight, to really try and get back up through this field. But it could very well work out good for the 51 car, especially if we get you know, like a 50 lap run on these tires, then get some short runs and then finish things off with about a 25 lapper. That would almost be ideal for the strategy out of the 51 cam. As this side-by-side battle continues, Andrew Payne now trying to get around Dave Payne for the second time here tonight. Payne once again trying to defend up in lane number 2. Payne trying to work that inside lane, and I tell you what, Payne is sending that car in there trying to get clear. Couldn't quite do it that time. Let's ride on board with the 93 machine here. As you can see in here, Payne working that throttle pedal, trying to get that car rotated and pointed where he wants, but Dave Payne still hanging out to that outside lane here tonight. As you can just see the blue nose right in front of him. Let's ride on board with Jimmy Gowker watching this side-by-side battle in front of him. As Payne gets a good run. Now here comes Jimmy Gowker looking to the outside of the 93. So Payne's going to have to maybe try and run up Dave Payne a little bit to get this pass done, because Payne could be under fire from the 2 machine of Gowker. Those two will lean on each other a little bit down the back straightaway. That's Payne trying to wash up that race car just a little bit, try and make that outside lane. Have to go a little bit more distance through these corners, but it seems like the momentum is up in lane number 2, as now Zach Coyer able to get to the outside. Payne will have a split second to run up to the top here. Can't quite do it, as now here comes Zach Coyer now looking to the outside of the 93 car. Right behind them, 2 teammates side by side, Zach Nichols, Jane Kurtachi. Looks like Nichols will fall in line up in that second lane. As Payne with a slide job there, he will be able to get to the high side here in front of Zach Coyer. Coyer will go defensive move up to that second lane here right away. And it looks like Jaden Kurtachi now from that bottom lane may get trapped down there, as Zach Nichols going to try and stick to the outside quarter panel. He will do so. Kurtachi big time sideways trying to keep that race car underneath him on that bottom side. And he may be on the losing end of things, because Zach Nichols able to get clear. Here comes Danta, and Chuck Darling could also roll on through. So Pete Dillon still out in front here tonight. Greggy Long in second. Nathan Coaster rounds out the top 3. Then that great battle for 4th starting to heat back on up here, as Dave Payne has a new buddy in the rear view mirror. It is Jimmy Gowker now putting pressure on the 38 machine. Gowker will take a peek to the inside of the 38, and I think if that 2 car has to make a pass, it is going to have to be down in 3 and 4 with almost kind of a slide job move. If he gets some momentum, gets a run, he is going to have to use it on up. As Gowker, though, the power move, he's able to get clear off of turn number 2. Dave Payne also looks like, wow, Andrew Payne doing that move. That's the move I was talking about, as Andrew Payne will make that move work to perfection there, as now Payne under fire from Zach Nichols. Nichols been able to move up a few positions on this bottom side, so we'll have to see how he works his 38 car. Payne and Coyer will get a piece of the wall, and that will allow Nichols to get clear. So Zach Nichols up into 6th here, just before our halfway point here tonight. 2 other teammates side by side here, Zach Coyer and Anthony Danta. Danta will be able to get clear, so Danta back to P number 8 currently. As contact there, guys getting into each other's bumpers. As Dave Payne maybe gets a little bit loose. Payne up the racetrack there, so maybe an issue out of the 38 car. As Zach Nichols will try and work over the 93 machine of Andrew Payne. Those two will go side by side here down the front straightaway. Nichols will sail it in there deep. He will slide across the nose of the 93 car. Now Payne will have the crossover move. Will he sail one on back on the 44? Side by side and even here down the front straightaway, and this time by from the flag man. It is cross flags here tonight. Halfway down, halfway home, and so far the first half has been clean and green racing. Out in front, Pete Dillon with a nice advantage now over Nathan Coaster. Coaster trying to run down our race leader last time by. Coaster, though, only a 20.39. Pete Dillon a 20.36. So Dillon's keeping the pace that he needs to, at least for the time being. Now we see Zach Nichols here trying to hunt down the 2 machine of Jimmy Gauker. We got a special helmet cam here on the 44 machine, so let's ride on board with Zach Nichols, see what he is seeing as he tries to set up the move on the 2 machine of Gauker. He will take a peek to the inside there on corner entry, but Gauker with the better run from lane number 2. Nichols will kind of enters in the same, then cut the car down low, and man, all over the back bumper of that 2 machine here tonight. Side by side battle now for that 4th position here. As Greggy Long, his pace not where it needs to be currently. He is losing touch of the top 2, and these 2 starting to catch the 21 machine here later into this run. Ron Hart able to get around Dave Payne. Jimmy Gauker, Greggy Long into the wall there, into turn number 3. So not sure if the 21 machine having an issue or just got a piece of the wall. That thing sent him way up the racetrack, but will lose 2 spots because of it, but still will continue out on the speedway for the time being. And yeah, it looks like that race car is starting to go away big time on the 21 machine as he'll lose the spot to Payne, now to Danta, and pretty soon to Katachi as well. So Long able to run up in the podium spots for the first half of the race. Looks like will not be the case here as he has no other tires on the pits here tonight. Jimmy Gauker here still holding off Zach Nichols for now the 3rd position out on the speedway. The front 2 have kind of been swapping times. Nathan Coaster able to eat into Pete Dillon's race lead just a little bit, but last couple of times by, both drivers swapping the better lap times. Last time it was a 43 from Dillon, a 49 from Coaster. This time across the stripe, a 45 from Dillon, and then a 57 from Coaster. Zach Coyer here under fire from Chuck Darling. So Darling looking to the inside of the 13 machine. These two side by side for position, with right in front of them Payne and Danta also dueling it out for P number 5. Zach Coyer, though, doing a good job hanging into that second lane here. He'll be able to hold off Chuck Darling for the time being. Danta and Payne, though, a different story up there. Those two side by side. Danta big time into Payne. Both those drivers will go up the racetrack, and Andrew Payne, the worst end of that deal, as well as Payne will fall back to 9th. Those two drivers having a history with each other. I think back to last season on the final lap, Danta washed up the speedway at Darlington, put Payne in the wall for the race win. I'm sure that's in the back of the mind a little bit of the 93 car. And that thing looking like he needs to maybe let the tires cool on off for a lap or two. Once again here, Zach Nichols putting pressure on Jimmy Gauker for that third position here. Gauker starting to maybe get a little bit loose at the apex here, so we got to wonder, is this right front starting to get hot on most of the cars out here and starting to lose traction just a little bit? As once again we see Zach Nichols with the lower line there in 3 and 4, able to get the nose to the inside, but Jimmy Gauker doing a great job at keeping up the momentum, not making any sort of big mistake, because now with about 70 laps done under the green flag, you can see just how much there are for marbles both on the apron and the top side of the speedway. So it is really at the moment only a 2-groove racetrack here. As Coaster continuing to lose touch a little bit with Pete Dillon. Dillon trying to walk things off to about a 2-second advantage now over the 53 machine. And with this pace, big slider from Zach Nichols there. Jimmy Gauker will try and cross him on over, but wow, what a send by the 44 machine. We'll see if the mail is returned in 3 and 4. Looks like not at least a big slider from Gauker, but we'll be able to push that 44 machine on up just a little bit. Gauker not going to throw the slider that we saw Nichols do here, so that'll keep the 44 machine to the outside of the 2. Those two still side by side here, as now Zach Nichols with the advantage. And it looks like Jimmy Gauker will finally concede the spot, so Zach Nichols up into a podium spot, but a long way to go with a short amount of time here left in this one. Jaden Kutachi, Anthony Danta, and Chuck Darling all here in a intense battle. And speaking about the 51 car, Ron Hart, fastest car on the speedway is the 51 here after saving for, the first quarter of the race. Though I think the hourglass starting to run out from the 51 machine. I mean, has to get up, 10 positions. That's going to be a tall order, even with a lot of cautions these last 25 laps here tonight. As this time by Pete Dillon here will look to the countdown clock. It is now 25 to go here at New Smyrna. And I'm trying to see, just to double check here, my favorite stuff, looking at the league stats here. Trying to see if Pete Dillon has picked up a win. And yeah, Pete Dillon has won before in ASRC. So looking for career win number 2 for the 7th car. And I tell you what, Pete Dillon is just hoping that this race goes green to the end. I think Matt Modulewski here done for the evening. Hired one car maybe blow up on pit road. Looks like Greggy Long also retired and done for the night, as we get 3 wide racing down the front straightaway, as Zach Corey saying it is time to get a groove on here, trying to get around his teammate Anthony Danta for that 7th position here. Danta looks like he is starting to lose the right rear on that 9 machine. That car is starting to look very, very loose. Right behind them, Ron Hart able to get around Andrew Payne. So Hart up to Pete number 9 here. He will try and catch these cars right in front of him. Out towards the front though, Zach Nichols has run down Nathan Coaster. So Nichols going to try and get around the 53 machine. And this is the first battle really of the evening. The 53 has been in here with now 20 to go. Coaster up in lane number 2 in that 53 car, going to try and defend. Zach Nichols going to try and work that inside lane here. No slider, at least that time, from the 44 machine. As further on back, I think maybe Stephen Hoffman having some sort of incident there. He will drop to 13th, as there we go. Zach Nichols around Nathan Coaster. Has to make up 3 seconds here in 18 laps. That's about 0.2 of a second better than our race leader. He's going to have to be hauling the mail to get there in time. Ron Hart has caught that 3-car battle here, and it is getting juicy for that. Zach Corey now all over the back bumper of Kratachi, as Ron Hart will now put pressure on Anthony Danta in that orange number 9 machine. Corey going to try and get to the inside of Kratachi. Those two side by side through the corner. Not going to be the case down the front straightaway, as the 11 car will get the drive on off here. As here comes now Ron Hart on that inside lane here. Hart going to be able to get a nose to the inside of the 9 car. Will be able to carry a lot of corner speed. Going to be dead even at the start finish line, but Ron Hart looking pretty sporty here with saving those tires. Kratachi big time loose there in lane number 2. Now allows Zach Corey to get on around, maybe not, as Kratachi will hang on to the right rear quarter panel there of the 13 machine. Corey though will be able to get clear there. As Kratachi may be having an issue, he blinked on out. Looks like does not come back to the speedway here. As now Ron Hart sets his sights on the 13 machine of Coyer. His teammate Chuck Darling way up the racetrack here in front of these two, so Hart may have to kind of settle maybe for a top 6 finish for the best case scenario here for the 51 without a late race caution. As we see Dave Payton back out on the speedway here tonight. Chuck Darling, though, able to run down Jimmy Gauker now to the inside here of the 2 machine. Gauker, he is also looking very, very loose. And now that time by at the start finish line, 2 open palms. It is now 10 to go here. As Darling able to complete the pass as the handling on the 2 car goes on away here tonight. Andrew Payne here losing a couple other spots now. It looks like to Landon Dickens and Stephen Hoffman. So Dickens on up to the top 10 for the first time tonight late in this one. Those two drivers, Dickens and Hoffman, able to really manage their pace well, kind of like we saw out of the 51 machine of Hart. Anthony Danta working that wheel hard on that inside lane here. As Chuck Darling able to get around now Nathan Coaster for Pete number 3. So Chuck Darling up into a podium spot here. As Danta and Corr will lean on each other, both cars will get big time sideways. As it looks like Danta might be able to get clear. Here comes now Caleb Ramsey, Landon Dickens, and Stephen Hoffman as well. Both on the 9 car and the 13. That right rear is going to be hot. Oh man, contact there. Caleb Ramsey and Anthony Danta. Danta shoots way up the racetrack there. Zach Corr also up the racetrack as well. So Caleb Ramsey, biggest mover of the night, up 10 positions. Landon Dickens now up into 8th, and Stephen Hoffman here trying to get 9th away from Zach Hoyer. Hoffman will be able to do that here. So Hoffman back to where he started here tonight in that 9th position. Now it is 4 to go for Pete Dillon. Ron Hart, though, able to get by Nathan Coaster. Coaster, I think that right rear is all but gone on that 53 car. Yeah, you can see him trying to just hang on to that race car for anything it's worth. I think Coaster might have to just kind of baby this thing on around here for the final couple laps. As our race leader, Pete Dillon, he does not want to see a caution. As this time by for the 7 machine, we will get popsicle sticks up in the air. And it looks like, yeah, Nathan Coaster broken right front. We'll see if he can somehow get to pit road. Looks like we'll at least keep that car up on the apron. So as long as Pete Dillon, all he wants to see is this white flag. And we are racing back to the checkered. As this time by, the 7 car will see the white flag. 1 to go here at New Smyrna. Pete Dillon start on the pole, drove an absolutely flawless race here, had the right pace in the 7 machine, and off of turn number 4, Pete Dillon will pick up his 2nd career win here in ASRC. Zach Nichols will go from the back to Pete number 2 with no cautions here tonight, and Chuck Darling will round out the podium. Ron Hart will finish in 4th, Jimmy Gauker 5th. And it looks like Zach Hoyer will just beat out Landon Dickens there by a 1/10 of a second. And that will make it now 2 races in a row here with the American Sim Racing Club Street Stock Series that a race has gone flag to flag. We had it last week at Rockingham for 50 laps, and now a 100 lapper here at New Smyrna. So a great job by all the drivers and the field here tonight to put on a great race and show. So don't go anywhere, folks. We'll be right back here after a quick commercial break with our post-race show here tonight.
iRacing is a sim racing game that combines a true-to-life racing experience with an online community of virtual racers from all around the globe. iRacing offers a multitude of officially licensed cars and tracks, laser scanned with millimeter accuracy. Their car models and mechanical systems are based on real-world physics, engineered in cooperation with manufacturers and race teams. Their skill license system ranges from rookie to pro, ensuring members are always pitted against those with similar skill sets. Members are able to sign up for a weekly race series, compete in time trials, host a private race with friends, and participate in racing leagues created and run by the community. With over 170,000 members, iRacing works in partnership with renowned motorsports organizations like NASCAR to deliver virtual races based on the real-life NASCAR Cup Series, as well as many other series on the NASCAR ladder. iRacing also features team racing, providing a variety of options for members to create and manage their own teams. Race with friends or real-world teammates in full-length endurance events like the 24 Hours of Daytona, Spa 24, or the Bathurst 12 Hour. Additional partners include IMSA, World of Outlaws, Supercars, and IndyCar, allowing members to race in their very own Indianapolis 500, Bathurst 1000, Chili Bowl, and many more iconic events. This is iRacing, delivering the most authentic racing experience short of getting into a real race car. Sign up today at iRacing.com.
Alrighty, folks, we are back here at the New Smyrna Speedway, and we'll be first chatting with our third place finisher, that being the 88 car of Chuck Darling. Chuck, do you got a copy? It's Brett the Jet in the booth here.
What's going on, Brett the Jet? How you doing, buddy?
Man, we're doing pretty good. Chuck, how we feeling after 100 laps here at New Smyrna that went green to checkered?
A little bit on the wore out side, man. That setup was a little bit of a handful. I tried to pace myself, and man, we had some great battles coming up through the field. Me and Zach Coyer side by side, me and Kratachi side by side. Man, it was just a blast racing with them guys.
Yeah, I tell you what, it looked like a bunch of fun. I was worried about the strategy from you and Ron to kind of save the tires as you guys did, and because it seemed like it was very, very tough to pass, at least last night here at New Smyrna. But I tell you what, it worked out great for you guys. I'm sure, though, hoping for maybe a late race caution there to bunch things back up and see what you had as well.
Yeah, well, I fell back a little bit and then I tucked in behind Zach and I'm like, okay, if I follow Nichols, and I just I never can go at the right time. He seems to go at the right time. And I just lag back thinking I just need to save a little bit, and sometimes it bites me. But it got a little bit of a handful there at the end, man. I was kind of wheeling it a little bit. I know Modzaleski and Jimmy were they had a handful as I come up to them and I was like, okay, just hit your marks, do your thing. I'll take a top three any day.
Yeah, and I tell you what, it started to remind me a little bit of that Iowa race you won last season, where it seemed like once the handling on these race cars went on away, it did so in a hurry. And Chuck, we really didn't see that from the 88 machine here tonight.
Well, trust me, after a while, it started getting. I think when I ran on the high side, I heated up my tires a little bit hotter than what I wanted to, and I kind of paid for that a little bit because I had the drive to catch, the guys in fourth and eventually third, but I just didn't have anything, to get close to Zach or Pete. It was slippery. It was a handful. I just in the back of my head, I'm like thinking, okay, run how you would do it on dirt and just like half throttle it. That way there wasn't that much wheel spin coming off from the corners.
Yeah, and that worked out well. I mean, I think a lot of people didn't have on their bingo card how much this right rear would wear, and once it did, it seemed like you wouldn't really get it on back. But yeah, man, overall a great night. You are able to beat your teammate Ron Hart here, and that comes up big because right now you sit second in points, just ahead of Ron Hart now with one race left next week at Hickory Championship night. How you feeling to hang on to P number two in points?
P number two is good, but man, I'd love to have some of them races back from earlier this season and be a little bit closer to Zach Nichols. But hats off to him. He's run a great season. Ron's run a great season. We've had great races, and I got to tip my cap to Pete Dillon, man. He was like, man, I wanted to start like in the back, and he started up front and he did his thing, man, and he got that dub. So congrats to Pete, man.
Yeah, I tell you what, he ran a heck of a race, hit the pace pretty much on the nail on the head as we saw a lot of drivers try and keep pace with him, fall on off. He was able to keep that car underneath him just like you, Chuck, here. And yeah, man, two races in a row, clean and green. I don't know how you feel about Hickory, but that place might have at least one caution with it being championship night.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, my only super late model win came there uh what was it, 2 seasons ago, 3 seasons ago, something like that. So I don't know how it's going to be in the street stocks. I mean, the cool thing about these cars is that you can rub on people a little. Me and Zach got into each other a little bit, and I'm like, I yelled out, "Sorry, Zach," and he goes, "Dude, we're racing." And to be able to trade paint, a little bit of paint, and a racing deal, and then do crisscrosses with these guys and run side by side with these guys, it's just a blast when that happens.
Yeah, and I tell you what, this race looked like a blast here tonight. A lot of driver skill and kind of that good old driver patience and restriction that a lot of drivers maybe don't have that, to limit that pace at the start to be here at the end like you are down here on the front straightaway. So Chuck, before we let you go and celebrate a great run here at New Smyrna, we're going to go hand over the mic to you and have you thank who you got to thank, whether sponsors, teammates, or anyone else you'd like to give a shout out to on the broadcast here.
Well, of course, got to thank everybody at ASRC. Tanner, all the admins do a great job with the league. All the league sponsors, LaPlante Racing Products, Premier Setup Shop, Talarico's Boardwalk Subs. The list goes on for that. Got to thank Turn 3. You guys do a great job on the broadcast. I look forward to going back and kind of find out where I messed up and all that good stuff. And I got to thank all the guys and people that are on my cart. Dead Short Race Car Wearing, my buddy Brad Bergevin, Race One, Mark Welch, Race One Wraps, Birch Run Speedway. Got to give a shout out to my teammate Ron Hart. Got to give a shout out to Pete. If it wasn't for Pete, he told me the line to run in qualifying. So thanks to him, I ran that line, and that little bit of pace helped me there. It's been a great season. A little disappointed in second, but I mean Zach Nichols has been on fire, so hats off to him on a great season. He's picking them up and putting them down. I wish I would have had better finishes to keep it a little bit closer, but he's got it wrapped up. So kudos to him on the championship, and we'll take the car to we'll take the 88 to Hickory next week and see if we can repeat or do a couple positions better.
Yeah, there we go, Chuck, and hang on to that second in point. So once again, Chuck here tonight, thank you for being part of the show here, as well as congrats on the P number 3. So you, my man, have a great rest of your night, and we'll catch you in 1 week's time for championship night.
Yes, sir. Have a good one, Brett, and we'll catch you next week.
Alrighty, awesome stuff. That was our third place finisher, Chuck Darling, piloting the 88 machine. Now we'll head up to our runner-up finisher, that being the 44 of Zach Nichols. Zach, do you got a copy? It's Brett the Jet in the booth here.
Yeah, we do.
Alrighty, man. First and foremost, how we feeling after 100 laps here at New Smyrna, having to start in the back?
I mean, I feel pretty good. Considering I went from green to checkered to get up to second there, and only being 2 seconds behind at the end, I'll feel pretty good about that.
Yeah, and I tell you what, man, oh man, did you foresee the right rear fall off that a lot of drivers were going to have in this race? I mean, it seemed like once that right rear got hot, it just fell off a cliff. How was that 44 machine driving, and how'd you keep it from, getting wrecking loose out there?
I'm not. Everyone's entry to turn 3 was really wide, and like they'd arc it out a lot, and I kind of just had a shallow, just pointed straight entry, and I don't know. I felt like that saved my right rear a little bit. I really didn't have much problem with the right rear, to be honest, but I definitely saw a lot of people struggling late in the race with that, and luckily we weren't one of them.
Yeah, luckily you weren't. And yeah, that inside lane, well, I was going to ask you about it. You were working that big time on Jimmy. It seemed like every other lap you're able to get a nose to the inside. Just couldn't get the drive off until, man, I tell you what, you pulled off some good sliders out here tonight.
Yeah, for sure. I pulled off a couple of them. I know that for a fact. And yeah, me and Jimmy battled for I did, dude. It felt like an eternity. Honestly, I think it was either 20 or over 20 laps, and I definitely hurt the tires there, and just having to pinch off the exits and whatnot. And yeah, we finally ended up getting around him, and we set our eyes on the leader, and just came up a little bit short.
Yeah, and I tell you what, I'm sure you're kind of torn between just getting this race done and over with a P number 2 or getting that caution. What were you hoping for there at the end?
I mean, a caution probably would have made it a little bit interesting. I don't know if I might have had something for him just if the tires cooled down and gained a lot more grip back. But yeah, I don't know. I kind of was content with a P2 because I said it last week. I very much disliked this racetrack, so yeah, I was kind of content with it.
Yeah, and I guess the good and bright note with finishing P number 2, Zach, is you don't have to start at the back here next week for championship night.
Oh yeah, for sure. That's always a plus. I mean, honestly, it's kind of fun starting in the back and whatnot. I've said this multiple times, but I don't know. I just like passing cars, and yeah, I mean, we get to start where we qualify next week at Hickory, so looking forward to it.
Yeah, that one should be a good one here. And Zach, yeah, you passed a lot of cars this season, and we'll make the grand spectacular deal, of course, next week with it being championship night. But with this finish, pretty much you just had to start tonight, Zach, and you locked up the championship now in the street stock. So, I mean, that's got to feel good as well, my man.
Oh yeah, it certainly does. I know we won a championship. I think it was 2 seasons ago. We did last season, but yeah, it's pretty neat to win a championship in this league. Well, I guess I haven't won it yet, but but yeah, it's a ton of fun to race with these fellas and each week, and yeah, I mean, just it's a ton of fun to race each week with these guys.
Yeah, and I tell you what, it's a blast to see you go on up through the field, put on a show with all these drivers as well, Zach. And yeah, next week, Hickory, 125 laps. So that place also known to wear some tires, a longer race than this. How you feeling about that whole deal?
I mean, 125 laps, and I know that track doesn't have the most spanking in the world, so yeah, the right rear is probably gonna get killed in that race a lot more compared to this race. So you'll probably see like what I forget what track it was. Everyone was going really slow the first half of the race, and they started picking up the pace. So you'll probably see that next week. So yeah, just looking forward to it.
Yeah, awesome stuff. And we are as well, Zach, as here tonight you pick up the second place here and continue a streak of some podiums. And Zach, before we let you go, I know there's a whole bunch of people you got to thank. So we'll hand over the mic to you and have you thank who you got to thank, whether sponsors, teammates, or anyone else you'd like to give a shout out to on the broadcast here.
Yeah, I'd like to shout out I think it was Peyton and Jimmy. I threw a slide job on someone else, but I forgot who it was. But they could have just drove right through me at the after I slid them. But they drove with respect, and yeah, I'd like to shout them out. My dad and my uncle Kenny are watching. We'll like to shout both of them out. My our real life sponsors, PSS&C, Carney's Complete Auto Service, R&M Towing, uh, frick, I forgot the last one. RSS Mobile Trailer Repair. Can't forget them, but like shout all them out, and you guys for broadcasting, all the league admins for putting this whole deal on, and look forward to racing each week.
Yeah, awesome stuff, Zach. And once again, congrats big time on the P number 2. And we look forward to chatting with you next week for that championship speech. So, you, my man, have a great rest of your week. It's going to be a stress free one next week. Just looking to add another checkered flag here.
Yep. We'll see you next week.
Alrighty, awesome stuff. That was our runner up finisher here tonight, the 44 of Zach Nichols. Now we'll head down to Victory Lane and talk to the man of the hour. It is the driver of the 7 car. It is Pete Dillon. Pete, do you got a copy? It's Brett the Jet in the booth here.
Copy.
Alrighty, man. First and foremost, how we feeling down in Victory Lane after 100 clean and green laps here at New Smyrna?
Hot and sweaty.
Yeah, I could believe so. I mean, luckily for you, didn't have too much pressure here, but man, you had to be on top of it for pace. How'd you manage this race here out in front with no real reference points and some pressure behind you multiple times here tonight?
I run pretty good at this track. I pretty much got it figured out, and really all I did is I was pretty at the very beginning of the race. I kind of went hard for 2 laps to make sure that I got the lead, and then after that I just backed up the corner, made sure that I wasn't sliding my tires on entry and could get to the throttle as soon as possible without getting sideways, and that was the key.
Yeah, that definitely seemed like it was a key here tonight. And yeah, man, that 7 car looked on rails. I mean, we saw a lot of other people start to get wicked loose there at the end. How was your car feeling at the end as well?
My car was pretty good. I seen Zach running me down uh, with 30 to go. I had a 4-second lead over him, and he cut me down to 1.8. But I just maintained my pace and was saving a little bit in the tank if he could get to me. Uh, I was gonna let her eat,
Yeah, and I
but that
tell you
didn't
what,
happen, and I got the dub.
exactly. Yeah, luckily no late race caution. I'm sure you were just fingers crossed that whole probably last 10 laps as you saw multiple cars getting out of sorts and saying, please no caution, right?
Yeah, I was praying there wouldn't be a caution, but I kind of wasn't worried because I felt like I still had better tires than everybody else, being able to maintain the pace and take it easy on them.
Yeah, and luckily as well, you would have lane choice. And if it came down to that, what lane were you choosing there?
I would have took the bottom.
Okay.
Coming out, yeah, I would have took the bottom. I know it was a high line dominant track, but I would have probably took the bottom and maybe if somebody tried to pinch me down, maybe lean on them a little bit coming out of two, but coming out of four, I would have had the preferred line, and I
Yep.
think I'd have been able to get by him.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely would have had the shorter distance through the corner. And like you said, luckily with these cars can get out there, get some elbows out and kind of lean on each other a little bit. But yeah, Pete, last win. Do you remember when it was in ASRC? Because this is career win number 2 for you.
I think it was 2 seasons ago, championship race at Wilkesboro. How could I forget it? It's the last win I got.
Exactly. Yep, that's what I got as well. North Wilkesboro Championship Week there, April in 2025, last time picking up the win. So, man, it seems like you and kind of these older surfaces get along pretty well in these street stocks.
Oh, yeah, yeah. The older tracks, I seem to do better where tire wear comes into a factor.
Yeah, and that will be the case, next week at Hickory, 125 laps, so 25 more laps than here tonight. How are you feeling about that place? What's starting in the back as well?
Yeah, I'll be starting in the back. I think there'll be a little chaos there. Hickory is my home track. I usually run pretty good there. I don't know if I got the. I definitely got top 10 pace, but I don't know. I don't know where I'm gonna stack up. Looking forward to it though. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah, that it will be. It will be a great race, just like we had here tonight. And man, who would have guessed it would have gone green to checker like it did? But I'm sure you're a happy camper because of that. And yeah, man, I kind of like to get a little bit of insight about sim race and stuff. I know, of course, chatting with you a few times over the seasons, but in today's day and age, what do you got for the old sim setup? What do you got for wheels, pedals? What are you looking at? All that good stuff for you, Pete.
I got the Moza R9 wheelbase. I got the CP1 Moza pedals. Triple monitors. A Zeus pre-built computer from Best Buy. 3070 graphics card. That's about it, really.
Yeah, all good stuff there, and another driver in the Moza ecosystem. And I tell you what, the more people that I chat with that are running it stuff, it seems like a lot of people are big fans of their kind of sim products.
Yeah, it's definitely the best bang for your buck. I don't know where they stack up to other stuff because I haven't ran a whole lot of high end other stuff, but I like it. It's helped me a lot out a lot. Finally got rid of my old Thrustmaster pedals and got these Moza pedals. I bought them used off marketplace, but they seem to be doing the trick.
Yeah, that they are able to get you down in victory lane here tonight. And yeah, Pete, once again, congrats on your second career win. So, here from New Smyrna, before we let you go and celebrate the win here tonight, we are, of course, going to have to hand over the mic to you and have you thank who you got to thank, whether sponsors, teammates, and anyone else you like to give a shout out on the broadcast here from Victory Lane.
I got Draymar machine devices on the car tonight. Been running their scheme all season. I'd like to give a shout out to them. My fiance Paula for letting me continue to do this and spend money on this because, as you know, it's not cheap. All my daughter, if she was watching, she usually does. Um, Tanner and whoever, Andrew and everybody that's involved in putting these races on and acquiring the sponsors, the league sponsors, and you up in the booth, man.
Alrighty, awesome stuff, Pete. And we got to thank you for being part of the Racing Action on Wednesday nights, putting on the show for all of us to enjoy as well. So you,
Yeah,
my man. Oh, go
I
ahead.
tried to make it last. I tried to make it last night, but I had some electrical malfunctions with the race car, so I didn't make it.
That always is a bummer to hear as well. I know a few people missed because of that big update even last night as well. That delayed some people as well.
Yeah, I actually had to email iRacing to figure out what was going on.
Yeah, did you end up getting that figured out? Well, I
Oh
would
yeah,
assume so if you're here, right?
yeah, that's what I was about to say. I'm here. It was 8:03 when I figured it out.
Oh, yeah, so you just missed the cut there. That's a bummer to hear, but you, of course, get to look forward to racing next week at Hickory. Don't have to start at the back Tuesday night, but Wednesday night, you got to make your way up through the field here.
Yeah, it should be fun.
Yeah, that it will be. So, Pete, once again, congrats on the second career win. And you, my man, go celebrate the win here tonight, and you have a great rest of your night, my man.
Thank you, Brett. Have a good one.
Alrighty, awesome stuff. That was Pete Dillon down in Victory Lane here in New Smyrna as our second race in a row here in ASRC goes green to checkered. As we wrap things on up, we got to thank each and every one of you tuning on in here, whether live or the replay. We appreciate every single view here. And here we go, the American Sim Racing Club Street Stock Series race results from New Smyrna. The penultimate race is in the books. Now one race left. It is championship week next week at Hickory. You won't want to miss it. As Pete Dillon picks up the win here tonight, Zach Nichols will finish P number 2 and Chuck Darling will round out the podium. Ron Hart will drive on back up to 4th. Jimmy Gauker will finish in 5th. Caleb Ramsey will bring it home 6th, 7th going to Stephen Hoffman. Zach Coyer will hang on to 8th. Landon Dickens in 9th. And Anthony Danta rounding out the top 10. Andrew Payne will finish in 11th, 12th going to John DeMeester. 13th is Nathan Coaster. 14th, TJ Hassan, Jaden Kratachi in 15th. Dave Payton in 16th. Matt Modulewski 17th. And Greggy Long will round out the field here tonight. So yeah, like I mentioned, tune in next Wednesday night for championship night. Then ASRC will take a break, enjoy our holidays, and be back with the big old Snowball Derby here on the Turn 3 Racing Network. If you want to find out more about that, check out American Sim Racing Club on Facebook. So that'll do it here tonight. Everyone, if you can, we are partnered here at Turn 3 Racing Network with Premier Setup Shops. You can find out more with a link in the description. That will take you over to their website. Even if you don't want to buy anything, a click will go a long way. Show that, hey, with them supporting us, we can return the favor. So that'll do it here tonight. I've been Brett the Jet in the booth with Turn 3 Racing Network. Everyone, take care, stay safe, have a great rest of your week, and we'll catch you for championship night in 1 week's time. So I've been Brett the Jet in the booth, and I just flew by you. Have a good one.